guys, I'm back again. What I want to talk about this time is a little bit more on Donald Trump. It's looking more and more likely he's going to be the Republican nominee. So I just wanted to share a few thoughts on some articles that I read earlier today on his tariffs plan. More specifically, him saying that we're losing to Mexico, China, and some other countries, and he wants to implement a 45% tariff on China, for example. And I just wanted to read about, share a few facts that I've read on some articles that kind of go into detail. And if you look at pretty much anything Donald Trump says, sure, it sounds good, but once you delve into the details of it, they don't sound good at all. And it's quite the opposite. Most of his plans will do more harm than good. For example, like I said, he wants to increase the tariff on Chinese goods from 35 to 45%. This would, according to the articles, and I'll put them down below in the description, it would increase prices on those goods. It would punish poor countries for undercutting American workers, and they should therefore be punished for it. Those countries should be punished for it. It will also punish low-wage Americans because if you're struggling paycheck to paycheck, if you're on food stamps, WIC, something like that, and you all of a sudden pay $7 more for the same things, then that's fewer things that you can buy to support not only yourself but your family as well. So it hurts working class and low-wage Americans. Also, free trade, at least from an American perspective, can be difficult to defend. Because it benefits Americans. We get cheaper goods, we have stronger purchasing power, they all promote a more efficient economy. And it would also be spread out over the entire population as well. And countries such as the U.S. hand out what is known as most favorable nation status to its trading partners, who in exchange for this label would then agree on low tariffs in exchange for regional trade agreements, such as NAFTA, for example. And also, there's little evidence at all that free trade served the American economy at all. In the U.S. has an overall trading deficit. We buy more stuff than we sell to those countries, and selling back to them. And it's been that way ever since 1976. And free trade has fallen to $540 billion, which is around 3.3% of this country's GDP. And most economists, agree it's not much to worry about. It's nothing to worry about. Free trade peaked in 2006 at $762 billion, which at the time was 5.5% of the GDP. And also that year, of course, it was a couple of years before the Great Recession started. We were borrowing too much, we were overspending, and then of course everyone knows Rockefeller. And we couldn't pay for those loans, we couldn't pay for our bills and everything. And according to Patrick Newport, who's an American economist with a forecasting firm, HIS Global Institute, he said, I'm quoting here, if you grade on the curve, the U.S. gets an A. We're not losing to China or Mexico. And he also went on to say, they're sending us goods and we're sending them green pieces of paper. I don't see that as a loss, and frankly I would agree with that. If Trump is elected, and if his tariff policies go into effect, and if he gets to 45% on China and some other countries, as well as other isolationist, protectionist, and nationalistic policies, and they are isolationist, protectionist policies. Just call spade a spade here. It would hurt most people before you even help them, if you help them at all. And this logic might not work in selective settings, and it might help in, stirring, rousing, and upbeat campaign speeches, but it won't work in the real world. And if he gets elected, it would reduce and implements this 45% tariff. It would reduce the 20-year trend of decreasing prices for consumer goods, which is offset other rising costs such as healthcare costs and college tuition. It also offset occasional increase in energy costs, like gas prices, for example. So, and these articles went into more detail than that. These are just a few of the bullet points, as well as some other sources that I found. So it's just, I didn't want to go into a long 20-minute speech, 20-minute video. I'm going to keep this one short. I'll put some articles and some other sources in the description so you can look at them for yourself. I just wanted to go over a few bullet points with you. And basically, this is just one thing. Regardless of what your opinion is on tariffs, some say, in order to compete, we need to, increase tariffs. And it sounds good, but the more you charge in tariff taxes, the more you're going to be hurting people who can't afford them. Sure, if you're middle class, upper class, it's not going to make that much of a difference to you. It sounds good. Many of his policies on paper sound good, but once you get into the nitty-gritty details of it, they don't work. They can't work. Many of them. They won't work nearly as well as he thinks they are. Or it won't work nearly as well as he thinks they will work. I would encourage you to just, do your own research. Don't take Donald's word for it. If you look at websites like PolitiFact.com and some other websites, PolitiFact.com reported that I think it's something like 76% of Donald Trump's tweets were some variation of false. Probably false, mostly false, or just flat out false, completely. So just do your homework, do your research, and I think if you do, you'll find out that he is probably the least qualified candidate out there. Anyway, I just wanted to share a few things with you guys. Do your homework, do your research. Like I said, I'll put a few things down below in the description for you guys to look at. Anyway.